Hecate is one of the most fascinating and mysterious figures in Greek mythology. She was a goddess with powers over magic, witchcraft, and sorcery, and was revered as a protector of the home and a guardian of the boundaries between worlds. While she was not included in the main Greek pantheon of gods, her influence was profound, especially in matters of the supernatural, the moon, and necromancy. Hecate's name and her association with witchcraft were well known throughout ancient Greece. She was most commonly depicted as a three-bodied or triple-formed figure, a symbol that emphasized her connection to the liminal spaces between life and death, day and night, and even the mortal and divine realms. She was often shown holding torches, keys, and other symbols associated with darkness, the moon, and the underworld. Her connection to snakes and hounds further reinforced her role as a protector, as well as her ties to the darker aspects of nature. In the ancient world, Hecate was linked with the magical arts, especially necromancy. Necromancy, the practice of summoning and communicating with the dead, was believed to be under her domain, and it was said that she had the ability to control the spirits of the dead. This made her a goddess of significant power, one who could mediate between the realms of the living and the dead. Hecate was especially worshipped by witches, particularly in Thessaly, a region known for its magical practices. Her first major literary appearance came in the 8th century BCE in Hesiod's Theogony, where she was described as a powerful and honorable goddess with influence over the sky, earth, and sea. The Theogony notes that she was a daughter of the Titans Perseus and Asteria, making her a granddaughter of the primordial Titans Phoebe and Koeos. Her lineage placed her among the older generation of gods, though her role in the pantheon was somewhat ambiguous, as she was never fully integrated into the ranks of the Olympian gods. Some sources, like Euripides, mention Leto as her mother, while others suggest that she may have been the daughter of Zeus and Demeter, though this is debated by scholars. Despite her ambiguity in the major mythological texts, Hecate was widely worshipped in various regions of ancient Greece. She had a prominent sanctuary at Lagina, located in Asia Minor, and was worshipped by those who sought her protection or guidance in magical matters. In ancient Athens, Hecate was revered as a guardian of the home, the oikos, alongside other gods like Zeus, Hestia, Hermes, and Apollo. Over time, she became associated with the protection of boundaries and the guarding of the transitions between the known and unknown, life and death. Hecate's most notable role was as a liminal deity, one who occupied the boundaries between realms. She was the goddess of crossroads, and it was believed that she had the ability to influence the crossing of paths between mortals, gods, and the dead. This made her an important figure in rituals designed to protect individuals from harmful spirits, as well as a goddess who could guide the souls of the dead to their final resting places. Crossroads, particularly those where three roads met, were sacred to her, and shrines dedicated to Hecate were often erected at such locations. Hecate's link to the underworld and her role as a guide of souls further emphasized her connection to death and the afterlife. She was believed to hold the keys to the gates of the underworld, giving her dominion over the passage between life and death. In this role, she was seen as a protector who could ward off evil spirits and ensure that souls were safely transported to their final destinations. Her ability to control the flow of souls made her one of the most powerful figures in the Greek Pantheon, even though she was not officially part of the Olympian gods. One of the most famous myths involving Hecate is her connection to Persephone and Demeter. When Persephone was abducted by Hades and taken to the underworld, it was Hecate who first heard the cries of Demeter's daughter and guided the grieving mother in her search. In some versions of the myth, Hecate plays an active role in rescuing Persephone, rather than Zeus or Demeter. Hecate is often depicted carrying two torches as she leads Persephone back to the surface, symbolizing her role as a guide between the underworld and the living world. In other versions of the myth, Hecate serves as a companion to Persephone during her time in the underworld. Each year, when Persephone descends into the realm of Hades, Hecate is said to accompany her, guiding her through the dark realms. This relationship between Hecate and Persephone is symbolic of the cycles of life and death, as well as the transition between the seasons. Persephone's descent into the underworld marks the beginning of winter, while her return signifies the coming of spring. Hecate's role as a mediator between the worlds is further emphasized in the idea that she represents both the young maiden and the wise crone. Persephone, as the maiden goddess, is often depicted as a counterpart to Hecate, who represents the more mature and powerful aspects of womanhood. Together, they symbolize the two ends of a woman's life cycle, from youth to old age. This duality made Hecate a figure of both nurturing and destructive power, one who could bring prosperity and knowledge to those she favored, but also withhold these gifts from those she deemed unworthy. Her connection to the moon and the night sky is another important aspect of her mythology. Though evidence linking Hecate to the moon is somewhat later in the literary tradition, it is clear that she was closely associated with lunar powers. In some texts, she is referred to as the moon goddess, with the ability to control the tides and the flow of the night. This lunar aspect of her nature was likely influenced by the later Roman interpretations of Hecate, particularly her identification with the goddess Diana, who was also a moon goddess and a protector of the wild. Despite her power and influence, Hecate was never fully accepted into the Greek Pantheon. Her role as a goddess of magic and the underworld set her apart from the more mainstream deities of the Greek world, and she was often seen as a figure who existed on the fringes of the divine order. However, her worship continued to thrive, particularly among those who practiced witchcraft and other magical arts. In later periods, Hecate's figure was incorporated into various mystery cults, including the worship of the triple goddess in Wicca, where she is often depicted as a representation of the feminine divine in all its forms. Hecate's cult, though never fully integrated into the official pantheon of Greek gods, remained influential throughout the ancient world. She was a goddess of magic, the moon, and the underworld, and her ability to traverse the boundaries between life and death made her a powerful figure in both life and death. As a goddess who mediated between the mortal and divine realms, Hecate's influence extended far beyond the traditional boundaries of Greek mythology, and her legacy continues to resonate in modern spiritual practices, particularly in Wicca and other forms of modern witchcraft. Throughout her mythological history, Hecate remained a goddess whose powers were both feared and revered. Her ability to control the forces of magic, death, and the supernatural made her a goddess of great significance, and her presence was felt in the lives of those who sought her guidance and protection. Whether as a guardian of the home, a guide of souls, or a defender of those on the margins of society, Hecate's influence continues to endure as a symbol of the mystical and the unknown, a deity who lives on in the hearts and minds of those who still seek her wisdom and power.